Hey, good morning. It's Mark with your video thought for the day. All right. I've been sitting here kind of thinking this morning, and you'll see behind me here on the wall a picture of a volcano. It's a picture of a volcano that's actually right outside of Antigua, Guatemala. And it's a beautiful volcano. It's a pretty picture too. But the picture is a likeness of the volcano. It's not the same volcano, but I see it. It reminds me of the volcano. It reminds me of Guatemala and the beauty. I can't quite smell it, but I can remember the smell just by looking at the painting and putting myself back there. And I say that because the passage that I've been thinking about this morning is found in Genesis 5, verse 3. Genesis, that first book of the Old Testament. Now, to put this into context, the first chapter is God's creation, and the second chapter is the Garden of Eden story, into the third chapter where humanity sins against God and is kicked out of the garden, falls from God in a sense. And then you've got Cain and Abel coming up, and of course Cain kills Abel. And then by the time you roll into chapter 5, Adam fathers another son, and it's Seth. Now, the passage is interesting because the passage says that Adam fathered a son in his own likeness after his image. And so you've got this word image being used there. It's not the first time it's been used in Genesis. It was used way back in chapter 1, verse 26, where it says that God made man and woman, male and female, humanity, in his image. So we've got in chapter 1 of Genesis, God making humanity in his image. Then humanity does good things and all, but ultimately sins against God, falls, and Cain slays Abel, and things are not going so smoothly, and they're kind of a mess. And yet, Adam still gives birth to a son who is after his likeness or in his image. Of course, Adam had been made in the image of God. And it's an indicator that the image of God continues on even when humanity messes up and sins and all the rest. We've still got this calling on us, if you will, this opportunity, an obligation, and reality of being an image bearer, being someone who is called to work like God, exercise like God, be God, not be God, but reflect God into our world. In other words, there's an opportunity and an obligation that you and I have, not only to value each other because we're all made in the image of God, but also to exercise that image. We're to take God's compassion and show it into the world. We're to take God's mercy and show it into the world. We should take God's cares and concerns and priorities and exercise them in the world. We've got an obligation as people who understand what God has given to us by putting us in his image. We've got an obligation to show that image to the world so that the world can get not only an appreciation of God, but can benefit from the growth of what we can bring to the world. So I go back to the volcano picture behind me. It's a picture that is a zelem in Hebrew, an image, or an icon in Greek, ikonos, an image of the volcano. It's not the volcano. We're not God, but we show him so that people can appreciate him. So as I think about today, I'm going to think about the things I do, the things I say, the way I act, and I'm going to ask myself, am I doing a good job at carrying the image of God into this world and into the circle where I walk today? That's where my mind is today. I hope your mind will join me for at least part of that. And I'll see you tomorrow, but this is your video thought for today.